So I recently went to Super Nintendo Land. I had a ton of fun, and I shall now share my experience with you! What is up, YouTube? I am Zagreed the Dragon. You may call me Drago if you would like. And welcome to a much different video from what I usually make. If you've never seen me before, I usually make narrated playthrough videos. If you don't know what that means, I guess you're just gonna have to go and watch them to find out. Anyways, if you haven't already, leave a like, consider leaving a comment, and then do check out some of my other videos before you consider subscribing, because again, this is a little different from what I usually make. Alright, intro over, time to start the video. Part 0. Entry. Stepping through this portal, which leads directly into a warp pipe. I mean, after all, how else do you get to the Mushroom Kingdom? Stepping off the warp pipe, we find ourselves inside of Peach's castle. Already, the attention to detail is astounding, just to say the least. I mean, look at this place! There's even the warp paintings! Anyways, as you step out of Peach's castle, you will be filled with an absolute sense of overstimulation. But once your senses catch up to you, you will realize the reason for your overstimulation is the fact that this place is just so alive. Like, again, attention to detail, like, all of this looks like near exactly like out of the 3D games. And there is no shortage of things to do here, which brings us to Part 1, the rides. Before we begin, I would like to clarify, I am just going to be giving a quick, basic rundown of what these rides are, as to minimize spoilerage. That being said, so going through Mount Beanpole, oh yeah, if you ever see it go vertical, that just means it was my mom recording before she convinced me to make this video. She loves to record everything, and she records everything in vertical. So in Mount Beanpole, you're in the home of the Yoshi, so you're gonna find eggs and berries everywhere. Okay. And then there's Toadette here, giving a rundown of the fact that you have to find the Yoshi eggs as they were stolen. Which now brings us to the ride itself. If everything leading up to this didn't give it away, you will be riding a Yoshi in search of the Yoshi's eggs, and should you spot one, you will be hitting one of these buttons, specifically the one corresponding to the color of the egg you found. And you also look out onto the park on this ride, which is neat. I rate this ride a 6 out of 10. I definitely wouldn't mind bringing the small, single-digit age relatives on this ride, being a kiddie ride and all. I prefer my experiences to pack a little more punch. Entering the line for Mario Kart, we are given a grand tour of Bowser's castle, which includes a Bowser painting signed by Miyamoto himself. And there is a lot to look at here. We got the trophies from Bowser's past kart victories. Here's his study, which includes a strategy of how he intends to win the team race. And it's also been haunted by boos. After the study, the line moves through this assembly line of these robot bomb thingies. Finally, we find ourselves in the racing room, full of these racing suits that nobody ever wears in the game. After this, I would stop recording until I got onto the ride itself, even though there was more to look at and experience on the way over there. As for the ride itself, you experienced it through these augmented reality goggles. And I didn't record much as I wanted to actually enjoy my riding experience. But basically how this ride works is that you basically just play Mario Kart, in Team Race mode specifically, meaning that you can only attack the Bowser crew. And you attack them by throwing shells at them, the shells being aimed via just where you look. Overall, I rate an 8 out of 10, because while I had a ton of fun on this ride, the AR tracking was kind of finicky, which caused me to have difficulty aiming. Which brings us to last, but certainly not least. Already, the scenery is a very stark contrast to what we've seen thus far, because, I mean, this ain't the Mushroom Kingdom no more, boy. We are in Donkey Kong Country. Anyways, this crate here is a collectible while you're waiting in line. I will elaborate on how the wristbands and collectibles work later, so hang tight for now. Speaking of collectibles, there is this one inside the mouth of this monkey statue, which marks the entering of the Donkey Kong Temple, which includes the Kong's great history of throwing barrels at plumbers, as well as their worship of banana. Along the way, I also found this collectible, which upon collecting revealed a magic banana on the ceiling. I then said hi to Cranky Kong and entered the ride. The ride in question being just a good old-fashioned roller coaster. Though as far as roller coasters go, it was kind of short for how long I waited in line for. And so I dub it another 8 out of 10. Also, there's Pikmin hiding on this ride. I just thought that was neat. And while that is the final ride on our list, there is far more to do than just the rides. Part 2. Minigames and collectibles. Since we're in Donkey Kong Country, might as well start there, starting with how the wristband actually works. After syncing them to the Universal Orlando app, they use a technology similar to Nintendo's Amiibos, you know, these figurine things, to scan the collectibles, or more accurately, the collectibles are scanning your wristband and then sending the data to the app. Starting with the singular real-life collectible that is not locked within the app is this banana ice cream sundae, which I thought was really good, and if you pay extra, they will serve it in this collectible souvenir mug. The first wristband collectible that I found was this one, which is directly near the entrance, and then this one, which is on what appears to be a surfboard next to a gift shop when you zoom all the way out. For minigames, we have what I call the gambling barrel, which does require a wristband to activate. Upon activation, you just tap the screen a couple times and you are given one of various collectibles for the app. The next game, which does not require the app, are the bongos, which you are supposed to play in the rhythm of the jungle, which goes something like dun 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 George, George, George of the jungle. If you play this rhythm for long enough, this rhino guy will poke his head out of the box. And so I'll give one last look to the DK Temple before returning to the Mushroom Kingdom. First thing first, this place is super vibrant at nighttime, and as you can see, there are mystery blocks everywhere, which you can punch. For collectibles, there is this checkpoint flag that I think does something, I'm not entirely sure what though. And also this collectible, which I don't remember how to navigate to, which upon collecting I got flipped off by Toad. On to the minigames!
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
The next game is this one. You start by punching the block, which spits out a random power-up. You grab the power-up and then just go ham. Now the following minigames, that is to say the rest of them, do require the wristband in order to activate and play due to you being awarded a wristband collectible at the end of each of them. The first of which being the Ba-Bomb minigame, which has this giant mystery block to punch on the way in. As for the game itself, the key's been blown up, so you gotta have one person run around and collect the pieces, and the other person actually put those pieces together, and at the end of it, you are awarded a key. I did not get the key collection on camera for some reason, but whatever. Next was this minigame where you just spin the thing as fast as you can to get the Goomba to fall. With my Butterfingers, I dropped this thing a couple times, but I did get the Goomba to fall, thus securing my second key. The next game was this one where you got to go around, deactivate all of the clocks, and upon successfully doing so, the Piranha Plant will release the key, thus securing my third. Up next was the Koopa Shell game, where you gotta hit the POW block at just the right time in order to launch the Koopa Shell upwards. So patiently I waited for my time to strike, and upon striking, a bug landed on my leg, but more importantly, I was able to claim my fourth key. Next was the Thwomp minigame, which had this collectible on the way in. For the game itself, you gotta flip all the panels to yellow before the time runs out, and while I did try valiantly to achieve this, I ultimately failed. But that's okay, because we only need 3 keys, of which I had 4. As for what those keys unlock, see, Bowser Jr. has stolen the golden mushroom, and we need 3 keys in order to unlock his tower and get it back. So I unlocked the tower to gain entry, and on the way in you can see Bowser Jr.'s junk everywhere, including this Bowser Jr. block and this here collectible on the way in. As for the game itself, it basically tracks your body and movement, where you gotta swat away things, collect power-ups in order to throw fireballs, and ultimately I couldn't record much because you kinda need both your hands for this game, but ultimately we were victorious. So yeah, that's Super Nintendo Land. Ultimately, I had an amazing experience. I highly recommend going to Universal Orlando, if nothing else, for this experience. Epic Universal also has a bunch of other cool stuff like Berg, the the Dark World, whatever it's called. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'd say it was worth it. And I guess that brings this video to an end. Bye!